If you ask engineers or scientists what nanoscience or nanotechnology is, you get a lot of different answers, but the bottom line is it's the science and engineering of very small things on the nanometer scale.
So if we cut the thickness of our hair to about more than 1,000, then we're looking at that scale. And so the study of making materials in that scale, that small, the study of how do we characterize these materials that small, how do we use such materials for various applications in electronics, for healthcare, for delivering better and safer medicines and such.
I think nanoscience is inherently interdisciplinary, and when you look at it, it's just a natural place for collaboration. It's where chemistry, physics, medicine just naturally comes together.
The University of Utah has a rich history of bringing together diverse talents across multiple disciplines to drive economic growth and betterment of the human condition. One of the newest examples of the university's efforts in cutting-edge collaboration is the Nano Institute of Utah.
The basic science is where a lot of the important long-term ideas are generated, which then filter down into and become transferable and translatable and eventually make it into the market.
So the fact that Utah State, University of Utah, and other educational institutions in the country want to join together, want to bring bright minds together, and bright minds that have a commercial bent, that have an entrepreneurial spirit, that have innovation that they wish to seek to be industrialized in some way. This is an opportunity that I think the industrial component of the Valley should also step up and meet us in the middle and help us to make this be a difference for Utah.
Founded in October 2008, the Institute integrates and will advance Utah's long-standing excellence in nanoscience. The Institute spans chemistry, physics, materials science, engineering, computer science, medicine, and pharmacy.
And in that movie, Fantastic Voyage, they really tackled or looked at, from a science fiction perspective, what we might do in terms of miniaturizing a submarine, the submarine moving through the human body, say through the blood vessel system, reaching a target, and then using a laser to ablate a blood clot. Those are, in fact, the kind of challenges, the big science questions that we're seeking to address in our institute.
The Nano Institute will initially focus on interdisciplinary research in 5 key areas: nanomaterials, interfacial sciences, nanomedicine, nanobiosensors, and micro and nanosystem integration and reliability.
And there's no physician who doesn't see a spot on an x-ray who's not thinking about cancer in almost everyone he talks to. So this is just an overwhelming problem. We are still fairly primitive in our treatment of this disease. We see it, we try to cut it out. The earlier we can find it, the more likely the surgeon's able to cut it out. But even when he does remove it, many of these cancers still come back. And that's the challenge that we face.
Yeah, so we work on drug delivery systems, and the idea is that you can use these tiny systems which are primarily at the nanoscale. So you're looking at drug carriers that actually target drugs to specific sites in the body. These sites could be, for example, tumors, they could be sites of infectious diseases, they could be sites of inflammation, etc.
This is a problem of small dimensions. Cancer cells are only a few microns, and they circulate within the body undetected in most instances. People can't feel them. We can't see them. Our X-ray technology really is only able to see tumors that are centimeters in size.
So in the doctor's office, we'd love to have a situation that the nurse draws a very small amount of blood, perhaps only a drop of blood, and puts it onto some kind of chip, and it would read out lots of information about what's going on physiologically, and that would happen within the time that you're in the doctor's office.
Our main focus is to understand at a basic level how how these arrangements, this architecture really affects how the cell works. You can take that understanding and leverage it to make novel new materials or to inform your research in terms of drug delivery or combating disease.
Many of these benefits would, of course, extend to soldiers in the current Iraqi and Afghani conflicts who come back with high rates of amputation. So we're trying to then produce devices such as this, which are made of biomedical grade degradable polymers that can be loaded with nanotechnology such as medicines and different types of growth factors and ways of regenerating tissue. Load those into this particular piece, have this piece be then integrated onto the stem of an amputee post that would be then embedded into the patient's bone, and allow then the bone and the skin and the muscle of that patient to integrate rapidly together to form a seamless new tissue unit that would prevent infection.
In case of an amputee, we want to run prosthesis, robotic arms essentially. What we can do is we can do sensory feedback, and that means that we can transmit sense of temperature and touch and surface quality back into the nervous system, which is the real reason why a lot of people don't wear their prostheses, because they feel like a piece of dead weight. As soon as you actually integrate them back into the human body and you allow for feedback, that's a very different story.
So this seamless engagement, the process of getting ideas from innovators at the university into the hands of the business community at Utah right now is very, very well done, and it's very well conceived. We have people who know how to do this from soup to nuts.
Professor Kopocek, my colleague, myself, and with the help of USTAR, we've established this new company called TheraTarget. The idea there is to try to develop drug delivery system for treatment of various types of cancers, either as platform technologies or as specific drugs that are actually going to come out in the market.
We have actually just started a new company located in the research park, Concurrent Analytical, and the focus there is to take some of the research developments from the laboratory, our laboratory and other laboratories, take those research developments and then actually move them into the marketplace.
This is an example of a small device that we're implanting into the central and peripheral nervous system, in this case to run a prosthetic arm. With a wired version of this device, we're already in patients. There's a university spin-off that is the only company in the world that has FDA approval for these devices and the instrumentation. We're working with clinics worldwide.
I think the Nano Institute is really exciting. I think that one of the key things that the Institute can do is bring researchers from across campus, also from other universities within the state, together to do things like solve bigger problems.
So the infrastructure now for nanoscience has really been improved in recent years, which of course really helps us. And USTAR has actually played a large part in that. USTAR has brought not just talent, but also important infrastructure. And that really enables not just the USTAR researchers to do their work, but also the people who are already here to do their work. And so that's been, I think, one of the really strong and important benefits of the USTAR program.
The Nano Institute of Utah offers a lot of intellectual firepower that complements the existing resources at the Huntsman Cancer Institute. We're very excited about the opportunity to work together.
Profound breakthroughs happen at the intersection of experience, knowledge, and insight. The Nano Institute of Utah promises to be just such a creative crucible and will be driven in part by support from the university and important statewide initiatives like USTAR.
We have a very unique situation in that on the interface between health sciences, engineering and the natural sciences, we have an assortment of people like nobody else. You're not going to necessarily reap the benefits in 2 to 3 years, but in 15 to 20 years time, you're going to be ahead of everybody, and that not only for a year or two or a quarter or a term, but you're going to be ahead of people for decades to come.
Just think what we can really do. And in fact, can things like Fantastic Voyage become something that we actually talk about and use tomorrow?